Right then, hello everyone, and welcome to behind the scenes of the ASF for Mascot Rumble. It's going to be a fairly short video. I'm just going to open up here by saying it's going to be presented a little differently, as I've said before, but I'll say it again anyway. I'm going to be here with Dr. Eggman, as always, just to cover the last event that we've done up to this point. We can't talk much about it, obviously, because there are moments where we may spoil what's going to do for the comeback. But if you do want us to do a show which does cover spoilers, but we won't be giving away results. We'll just be giving away feuds that will take place as a result of some of the stuff that took place in this event. So that's the outline of this. So we've got to be very careful about what we say exactly. We may have given already away a few things, but I don't want to give away everything unless you people say so in the comments. Otherwise, this will be it. This is the last one we will do until the ASF World Cup, which is coming in March. And then, of course, the official comeback of the ASF, which is coming in April. And this will be it. How can I start things off here? Well, we started off with the Smashdown Mascot Rumble. We brought Kanina had been taken out in storyline purposes by Mandy, because that's an ongoing storyline. I can say, obviously, I can say that because it's far from over. Let's face it. Yeah. But we brought her back for this one, because I really needed a ring announcer, because we needed details to be laid out of how the matches were going to go, especially the Rumbles, because I don't think everyone was, just us saying it wasn't going to be enough. This opening Rumble was actually just the concept of trying to get people used to how the Rumble will play out. So I thought kicking off with one would be great, because then people know what to expect from the rest of the show when it came to the Raw one, because this one was very team based. We had the mascot. We had the anti-heroes members in there, and we had Freedom Movement members in there. So it was very easy to format the match. It would be mostly in a tag team format. Homer and Wario were the first to come out for the Freedom Movement, and then Dimension X, because I wanted to put the boat out that, because Wario and Homer aren't really doing much, and then Dimension X are the tag team champions, and I wanted to make Astros come back, because Astros had been put on the shelf up to this point, so the hype was he was going to come back in the Rumble, and I wanted to put that over that, revenge for Dimension X. So it's best if we have those two in the ring together. So who can they be? I mean, it'd be pretty stupid if I just made them numbers 1 and 2. So just mix it up a little bit, and then have them eliminate Homer and Wario, which I'm not saying are bad competitors, but we're not putting them up high at the moment at this point. So it's best to show that they can work as a team, and then suddenly Astros comes in and starts messing up the place. What did you think of the comeback, Eggman? You haven't said anything yet. You haven't given me a chance. So yeah, but I thought it was a good way to make Astros come back. It wasn't my idea; it was your idea. But I enjoyed that method anyway. I didn't have any complaints about it. Just having Astros come back, and the best way to do it is to get your revenge on the people that did that action to him. So that was all good. No complaints. And I'm sure no complaints from the fans, maybe. I don't know. There was, of course, Astros then was in the ring for a little while, and I was kind of worrying, what am I going to do for like 3 minutes? Because we did actually time it. Every time someone got eliminated, I'd have 3 minutes. So someone had to be eliminated within that 3 minutes, just to make sure if anyone had a stopwatch or a timer. But Astros's time in the ring wasn't 3 minutes. That was the only exception. And then we brought in the Cyrus Robot and Nightmare, and then they eliminated him together, which does show that Astrof is still strong, but the team is perhaps stronger. And then of course we had Billy come in because I was wondering what I was gonna do with him. And best thing to do is just have him feed him to the monster team. And then we had a bit where Manic came out, and I wanted that kind of feeling. Do you remember in the WWE they had, or the WWF at the time, it was the Royal Rumble 2001, and they had Undertaker and Kane in the ring, just standing united, and then suddenly Austin's music hits, and he comes out, but then everything gets fucked up because Triple H comes out and attacks him. I wanted to recreate that moment, sort of. Two big, massive guys looking down at this person who is determined to win the Rumble because he must. The pictures are going to change here automatically because I've just set them at regular intervals. But we're soon wrapping this bit up anyway. So I thought everything would take about 4 minutes. I've timed it. But yeah, so I wanted to recreate that moment with Manic. He's coming out, and we had that bit where he's walking around the ring and just recreate, is Manic going to get in and, what hell's going to break loose because Manic is determined to win the Rumble, but at the same time, he's got two of these big guys who are strongly united, well, fairly strongly united. We did that exchange where we did the punches. That was really fun to call and everything, so, and to make. So, Kanina helped me a lot out with this episode. With this event, because she was over here during the time, because she's over in the States, but she was over here, so I thought, let's make the most of her, and well, she can help me do some of these matches. She didn't help me with every single match, but she helped me with some of them. And then we ended up with Manic and Bart at the end, eliminating. So that was that. So now we can move on to the next match. Also, there was the Hardcore Championship match, but there's not much to say about that. That was just filler, because that's why we didn't advertise it to be on the event, and that was just a match made up on Heat, or the pre-show. Why am I saying Heat? God, I'm getting too used to getting too influenced by the WWE there. Yes, that's a bad thing. Well, in the pre-show we made, I wanted to make the pre-show important to this event, because it's not all pre-shows. WWE's pre-show is pretty bullshit. So I wanted to make pre-shows. If I was going to start making pre-shows, it's about time we made them important, and we had that a day before we put out the Rumble. So there was a lot of important stuff that took place with the Masked Man and making that match and whatever, just stuff. And getting a Rumble preview, which I thought would be another good idea to put out, just to get an idea. So this match, there's not really much to say about it. This was you and Peach, and we wanted to continue the storyline with Mandy, and we have, because she cost Eggman the match, and now because this was Control of the Invasion eventually. We didn't actually bill it as that originally. It was just a thing between you and Peach, but then I said, wouldn't it make it better if because I wanted to keep people interested. What if we just put the stipulation that, whoever wins, and then we had the added stuff that Peach couldn't do because that match on SmackDown took place. So, yeah, we just kind of threw everything in there at once, which was kind of fun to do. Just going mad with the booking. Suddenly the feeling of power just overcame us. But yeah, this was just another more heat on Peach and Mandy at the same time. Peach gets a pinfall victory over you after Mandy intervenes, and then so it continues the storyline. So it was just purposely built for continuing stuff and making things seem that much more tension filled, because now the anti-heroes now have the permission to invade and control the invasion as well, so they get to decide what goes on Raw when it comes to their involvement. So that's all going to be a lot of fun to do in terms of writing and booking and everything. So look forward to that for the comeback. Start speculating now if you want. Hype. I That's all I can say. Yes, build the hype. Anyway, yes, ironically enough, we're up to the next match now. ASF Women's Championship match. What can I say about this one? Obviously, now everyone I think was through was pretty much Cream being Women's Champion. So we didn't want her retaining, so Decal and Cream were automatically going to lose. But who are we going to give the championship to? We actually did have a big debate about this, now that I remember. Because of things that we can't give away in the future, I can't go into specifics here. But there was a big debate over who, out of the team of Lisa and Amy, who was going to win the belt. And I was for Lisa to win, actually. You were for Amy to win. But I picked Lisa because because she was the new person on Raw, and I just thought, wouldn't it make the circle complete? Now she's come on Raw, she's beaten out Cream and Decal, and now the only thing left for her is to win the championship. And that'd be great. But you said you have the argument that Amy. Well, you can tell them yourself. I'm the one talking all the time. So you want me to talk about it? Okay. Well, I said Amy was in the storyline, more involved in the storyline, whereas Lisa would just come in and slipped in the back, and now she's suddenly involved. And now I didn't feel it right. I don't know how the fans took it. Do you like the fact that Lisa did end up winning, or would you enjoy the fact more that Amy won? Because Amy was more involved in the storyline, even though we did try to ease it off as this match being, Amy just wants revenge. She doesn't want the title, but she said the title will be the icing on the cake, and I thought it would just make it more complete. But we had a big debate about it, like we said, and for future events that we can't talk about. It combinated in, what would be worse, or what would be better, and it was very hard to decide a victor for this one. But it was necessary to have this tag team match because, it created a bit of energy and excitement back into the women's division after Lisa came in. But I just thought Amy should have won this match instead and won the women's championship after all the storyline that she's had. It would just be, as we put it in the storyline, the icing on the cake. So that was my argument. Just Lisa wasn't that involved in the storyline, and Amy was. So that's my excuse. We went back and forth a lot in the decision. I mean, Cream and Decal, like you said, automatic loss, but Lisa and Amy just. No, that would, but in the end I just went with him. Bit stuttering there. So yeah, maybe you'd like to give us your thoughts on that, whether you would rather Amy to win. Of course you don't know the future repercussions of this match, but something is going to evolve from this, and it will not involve Cream and Decal. Well, it will involve Decal. Let's just say that. I think you can get away with saying that. Yeah, I can get away with saying that. No problem. But yeah, that was a big debate about Lisa and Amy. God, blimey, we could have gone on forever. But obviously the show needed to get put out sooner or later, so we didn't want to delay it by just deciding who the women's champion was going to be after this match. So yeah, I would have just said, fuck it, let Cream retain. But no, Cream needed to be eliminated, and we needed a happy ending. So it was going to go either way. So next up was the Raw Mascot Rumble. So people have already got an idea now up to this point of what from the SmackDown one. So this was just really every person for themselves, and that's exactly how we booked it. It was just like people are going to come in. I had, to pick on Sonic that a little bit more. I had him come in number one, to make people, the doubters, shall we say. Even though they have a right to doubt, because And I also made sure that Manic and Bart were the last two entrances in the previous one to set the tone that those two were going to go through because they were the last two people in. And lo and behold, Sonic is now in on first, so he's not going to go through, right? But of course, anything can happen in the ASF, and lo and behold, it did. And I had Sonic go from post to post all the way through into the last man standing main event. And I thought it best. The process of order that people came out at first was a simple process of Aki came in first as well, I believe. So it was him and Aki, and then because I didn't want Aki to have a presence in this match, if that makes sense. You know, he was going to have longevity in the match, but he was going to be, you know. And then I had people that Sonic had feuded with in the past come out. So, AKA, you know, we had Shadow come out, we had Chaos come out, we had Scourge come out. Everyone that, you know, those three guys in particular, he had been feuding with. Mario to come out obviously was going to be last, so I couldn't go down that avenue. The decision to make Mario last was simple for the premise that, you know, there's too many Sonic characters in this, and they can have the nice premise that at least a non-Sonic character is going to be coming out at the end and have a chance to go through into the next match, but obviously that was not the case, so that was the decision. We had the triple threat match between Aki, Mario, and Metal Sonic, and that turned into a very good series of matches, because that turned into two. So there was hype surrounding that Mario might be going through because of the effort that he put in to get into that spot. But in the end, he didn't, as the swerve would go. Chaos had to be eliminated by other means. So I tried to get Shadow with the history making. We had it on the pre-show, Shadow eliminating Chaos by count out, and it was the same here. Just to put over the fact that Chaos could still not be pinned at this point, since Armageddon. So yeah, that was the best way to eliminate him. So get him out early as well, so we don't have to worry about that, and I could just worry about everything else just being generic as possible. Mandy's elimination was quite easy, just to continue the feud again. You'd go along, and then Kanina took over with commentary, and we had a lot of fun doing it. And so you'd go and beat up Mandy, so she never entered, which means she should have a championship match, because she never entered. Oh dear. But everyone else just came out in the order of whatever, because I didn't care. Metal Sonic came out also number 9. Before the final one, and that was about it. And you know, that's how the match went. You know, you don't have to think hard when it comes to, just the thing I wanted to do was Sonic had to eliminate all his enemies before it was going through easy. So obviously they'd be giving him the most punishment, and then he'd be coming into the last man standing match, certainly the weakest, because he had to vanquish all of his old enemies and rivals before he had the final march to the end. So next up was the ladder match here for the YouTube title, and we had the stipulation being that if Link was going to lose, then the Freedom Movement would no longer get a championship match against Tails. So there was a lot riding on this match, and of course I was going to obviously pull off the big shocker. Usually when someone makes a big stipulation like that, and it's only for one side, usually I go for it, because otherwise why would I make a stipulation at all? So it was a given, for me anyway, not for everyone else. I think everyone else had the feeling that this was going to be it, and Link was finally going to triumph over evil, or whatever the saying is. But no, and it was this match, recording wise was very frustrating to pull off. I had to play as Tails in the end, and then I had we had the plan that Nightmare was going to come in and do a repeat of Survivor Series and cost the champion the match, except this time obviously he'd be doing it for the anti-heroes, not just for himself. but it was kind of a bit of both. So Nightmare comes in after a few nasty spots I do with Tails here and there. And then after Link climbs the ladder, that's the backup plan. Stop recording after Link climbs and grabs the belt. If I'm not able to go in and grab it, and the match turned out to be kind of okay on the whole, but it could have been better. I wasn't entirely happy with it, but it's what had to go out because eventually just time caught up, and I said no more, and that was the best one. And then we had Nightmare come out, cost the match, and then everyone's now wondering what is going to entrail from this, but don't worry, it will. We can't give away any spoilers. But if you, like I said, if you want the spoiler show, then we will give away what we are going to do, and we can create some excitement for that. But if you don't want it, then you don't have to ask for it. For those of you that do ask for it, for the ones that don't, you don't have to watch the next show. I'm just saying the next one, if I do make another one, will have spoilers in it. So, yeah, about what's going to happen next when it pertains to the events that occur. There's a lot of events that have come out from the Raw Mascot Rumble. So, yeah, we can't talk about those either. Obviously. Not yet anyway, unless you say otherwise. So, yeah, and this feud was necessary. It was to end the feud, basically. So this is the last match, I can say, between Link and Tails in terms of the YouTube Championship and everything. So if it's spoiler free, you can be busy speculating on who is going to face Tails at Mascot Mania for the title. Build more hype, why don't you? So that's all I've got to say about that match. Like I said, I can't go into detail here, but that's all that needed to be said. Just a very hard match to record at the end of the day. Next up is the ASF World Championship match. So we had Bomberman versus Knuckles. Bomberman was voted in by a fan after winning an ASF quiz on the forum. I tried to utilize the forum to be a bit more effective when it came to what happened on the show, and that was one of the ways. As well as we used the ASIF as a way for people to vote for the stipulation for the championship match back then. So I thought, let's use it in another way and have someone win this competition on the forum, this quiz, as it were, for retro ASF. And this person voted in for Bomberman, and I was like, okay, well, let's go. And I tried to put as much work and effort into this feud as possible, because I didn't want it to be just another, oh, the champion's going to retain because of this, this, and this, because this person's never main evented or whatever. So we were trying to make it so Bomberman would seem like the coming out of the victor, as the victor, because we were putting everything against Knuckles. I think it was, if he got counted out or disqualified, the title would change hands. And if Bomberman, that's a new one that we've never actually done, and there's never been done in wrestling post-period, but like I said, I want to do new things that the industry's never done before for this show. And we had the stipulation that if Bomberman got counted out as well, then the championship would change hands. So Knuckles has to keep him in the ring. Kanina very handily helped me with this match. I wouldn't have been able to pull it off otherwise, but we were teasing it a lot. Bomberman kept on going to the outside, Knuckles kept on coming out, and because the AI wouldn't have done that at the end of the day. It would have waited out inside the ring to have the advantage, and I couldn't have done that stipulation otherwise. So seeing as Kingdom was here, and I thank her very much for helping me with the production of this match, we could do Knuckles was on the alert and following Bomberman out to make sure he didn't get counted out, and then throwing him back into the ring. So on top of all the other stuff that was going on in Knuckles' storyline, him being very corrupt and winning back the championship through unnecessary means, going against company policy, whatever the fuck that is. Don't say that. You're supposed to know what that means. But yeah, I'm satisfied with how the match turned out. It was very teasing. And then of course the finish was Bomb Man has the huge mega power bomb, and then we had the Masked Man come out and screw it all up. Because I said also no outside interference, so Knuckles was affiliated with Mandy and Luigi at this time coming up, so I didn't want those two getting involved. It was to make sure that Bomb Man got a one-on-one match and just a one-on-one match without the need of having to throw a cage in there or some shit. So good solid match, and ended off with a very very epic ending, I might say, because everyone was thinking he was going to win, and then suddenly the Masked Man comes in and ruins everything, which I thought was good, because that's the Masked Man's MO, is to come in and fuck stuff up. Who we all know who that is now, but that's why he was fucking stuff up. Let's fuck up the championship match that people want to see Bomb Man win and maybe take the title to SmackDown. Don't know what I would have done if if the decision was to have Bomb Man win, but I wouldn't have, because there's already a storyline in place for Knuckles, as we know, with Metal Sonic. That's gonna about call it a day actually for all this. That's all we can talk about. Obviously things are going to trail off also from the Last Man Standing match that was at the end of the show, in terms of and we had the unmasking as well. Things are obviously going to trail off from that, which we can't go into detail with, but you probably got a fair guess on that one, on what's going to happen. But there will be a lot of things trailing off from both those two things, both the Last Man Standing match and the unmasking of the Masked Man at the end of the show, who turned out to be Cena. I'm wishing I didn't do that now. I'm wishing it was someone else, but hey, I've got to live with my mistake. And I'm hoping to make it as epic as possible still, even if he's in the storyline. We're not going to actually, I can't say this, we're not going to show Cena much in terms of on the show, because I don't want him to be there, because he's got enough spotlight on him. So this is going to be, shall we say, a one-sided feud. But yeah, he's pissed off a lot of people, and also the general managers will be coming back, obviously, at some point after this. The important thing was we needed to get rid of every general manager that was in charge. Eggman dropped down as being a GM, so therefore he didn't need to be under attack. So we only had to get rid of Cyrus, and we only had to get rid of Kana, which was very difficult to do, but we managed to do it in the end. And I love that segment on the pre-show of that happening. Not because Kana's getting beat to death, but the ending was very good because of Shadow's character getting more development, her and Kana's alliance kind of playing out there. So it was all good. But things will trail off from this. But like I said, I'm going to end off here. If you do want a show with spoilers, then we'll do one next week in the same kind of format here. Another half-an-hour show, and we'll just give away stuff of what pertains to what happened in the Rumble and what we were aiming for when it came to what happened in the matches and everything, and the way forward. But this will be it otherwise. So I'm going to say thank you all so much for tuning in and to being a part of this. And this is the end of the show. Sadly, it ends with a bit of a whimper, but I thought we can't sit through all 3 hours of this because the Rumbles take forever, and we'd just be talking about fucking nothing. So it's as you can tell, because there isn't much to talk about because we simply can't. I'll say it one more time. If you do want a spoiler show, then we'll do one. But if you don't, then we will see you next time for the ASF at the World Cup event. I'll be giving away more information about that, by the way, before March, so you get the basics of how it's going to play out and everything, in case you're interested. Please do say if you are interested, because obviously, because otherwise I will use that time to do more work for the comeback. But otherwise, I will carry on with doing the World Cup stuff on top of what I'm doing for the comeback. I already have done some stuff, and I will continue to do stuff until the comeback happens. So I want to try and make as much as possible pre-planning and then I can start just chewing off shows every 2 weeks for when the comeback starts. So yeah, thanks you all so much for watching. You can say goodbye, Eggman. Goodbye, and we'll see you then.